Okay, so it seems like this Aster Arcadia stuff has kind of blown up out of nowhere. Now, essentially, there was an announcement regarding Aster Arcadia coming from Nijisanji, but it seems like we have even more information ever since this announcement, including some kind of information on a potential indie account or just a different account in general that Aster could be moving to try and resume more VTuber kind of, duties, I guess. And essentially, if you guys didn't know, earlier this morning, Nijisanji announced the fact that Aster Arcadia is being separated. Very interesting choice of words there, separated, compared to some of the other talent whenever they say terminated, graduated, all of this kind of stuff, where they, it's much more aggressive, whereas this is just separated, which is very, very light on the words, and people have been speculating a lot around that. But essentially, Aster was removed for a lot of the allegations, obviously to do with sexual harassment, and also some other stuff going on inside of the company Nijisanji as well. And obviously Nijisanji have kind of, I guess, addressed it all, like not addressed it, but kind of acknowledged the fact that something is going on by actually launching an investigation. Now, they never actually mentioned Aster Arcadia by name in terms of like being related to this investigation, but obviously Aster actually, stopped all of his duties as a VTuber around the same time this investigation came out. So obviously a lot of people were speculating that, it is probably him behind a lot of it. And, there's also other VTubers and different kind of accounts from, for example, Twisty Amanazako, which we covered, who also got kicked out of Nijisanji, obviously for her highly like racist comments that she made in League of Legends with her friends, but also for obviously leaking a lot of information from inside of Nijisanji, including exposing the fact that Nijisanji have been very not very good in terms of handling a lot of these serious cases, including the harassment and everything that has been mentioned to do with Aster Arcadia. And obviously that got exposed, so she got removed, and obviously Nijisanji is not looking great at the moment. And well, obviously I wanted to get onto this other topic because obviously I've made a full video talking about this if you guys want to go watch that. But essentially there was a post that actually came up on the Kurosanji subreddit, which is a subreddit pretty much dedicated to talking about Nijisanji and past Nijisanji livers. Essentially this was one of the kind of subreddits that grew in popularity, and I think it was created around the time that a lot of this kind of stuff was going on, especially like Doki Bird, things like that. And obviously they said, I think I found Starboy's new account. And obviously, as you can see, they posted a link to this. Now, I do want to like kind of specify here, this is not 100% confirmed. Obviously, we don't know, but I think a lot of the evidence does match up. So obviously, don't go bombard this guy because it could just be some random dude. But obviously, I think it will become more apparent whenever we get like a voice reveal and everything like that later down the line. Obviously, it said, now I want to make this clear, I'm not saying this is completely verified. The reason I'm even posting this is because A, there's some signs that match up, so the possibility is high, and B, so people can keep an eye out, and if it is him, block and warn him about him and his allegations, which is true, because obviously someone with such heavy allegations like this obviously needs to be called out wherever he goes. And I think that, kind of keeping a track on what his accounts are so that people don't fall, under the kind of, trap that other people have fell underneath whenever it comes to talking to him and being involved with him, obviously the best that people can kind of spread awareness about that, the better, so that he doesn't affect even more people. Not saying that he's out there like looking to kind of affect other people, but there is a potential that it could happen, and they're saying, now I think this may be Aster's new account because of 4 things. The account only follows Aster. The bio on their Twitch is scaling for the late game, which is a common saying for even his fans use. The bio has an 8-ball. Aster likes magic tricks and has done at least one stream about it in the past, and said the account mentions it's a league addict, and Aster is a league addict. All 4 line up with Aster's characters, so I think this might be a high chance, but again, once again, take this with a grain of salt, which, this is the account here, is called Aether. Obviously, it's been created literally in July 2025. Obviously, this is July 2025 right now, so it's been created very, very recently, which is very interesting. And obviously, the only person they're following is Aster Arcadia, which is very interesting, because obviously, I don't know why someone would be so open to following Aster Arcadia. Like, if this wasn't him, then it would be very weird that the only person they're following is them. But even if it is Aster, why would you want to be tied to that previous name? If I was actually trying to rebrand and, there was all of these kind of stuff coming out about me, I would probably not follow my original account, but obviously they're doing it. Maybe they think they can recover some fans from their old account. But it is very, very interesting that, yeah, it's the only person that they're following. Now, they haven't made any posts on Twitter or anything like that. They're literally just following, and they've made a couple of other social medias, including a YouTube and a VODs YouTube as well. Again, it's got an 8-ball just for the profile picture at the moment, and also a Twitch too, which obviously, yeah, the description says scaling for the late game, which is definitely interesting. They've also got a donate page there too. So it seems like they are trying to plan something, and this has all been made very, very recently. So again, interesting situation. You know, they keep going on. People in the comments saying, lol, his friend from pre-Aster days followed him as well, which is, yeah, obviously this person called Stubby. I don't know much about his past and what he did before Nijisanji, but again, obviously, you know, they're saying that, who is that person? They leave a link to them too. Yeah, you can see in the YouTube description there, it says scaling for late game, League Addict and singing as a hobby. Obviously, it said League Addict, that explains a lot. It said it's almost 100% Aster, but I'll wait for some kind of vocal debut before I do anything like blocking the account or something. It said same, but when it comes, when the time comes, he re-debuts, I'm blocking his ass, and spreading the warning not to follow him, which, yeah, I definitely think if it is confirmed through a voice debut, then you're totally, you know, fine to go ahead and, you know, warn people about you know, his past actions and everything like that. But for now, I think it is one of those things we just have to keep an eye on it and just see what actually happens from this, because it could turn out that they were just someone that followed Aster again. But there was a lot of you know, red flags pointing towards it being Aster. I said this man should not have a platform ever. As long as he keeps coming back, the sins of what he did will always call back to remind him of who he is. Total content death. He said, holy, that was quick. I know, right? Like, how do they do this? How do they find these people in less than an hour? They must have a very high detective skills to find that person. That if I'm thinking they have bots that looks for any new follows for different streamer accounts. He said, nope, I saw a rumor about this account and decided to check for myself. Okay, so yeah, there's some rumors floating around, which again probably stemmed from some bot accounts looking to see if anybody had followed Aster or vice versa recently, ever since the controversy. He said, I checked his followers and there's a good number of them with either Aster's Oshi mark or other Niji Liver Oshi marks. I'd still wait until a vocal debut to be absolutely certain, but there still is a lot of evidence suggesting it's really him. Nice spotting, keep them coming, people. So again, yeah, people have, you know, a lot of people are saying that, yeah, this probably is Aster, but again, obviously we're gonna have to hold off and wait until we actually get any kind of vocal proof or anything like that, unless they decide to use a kind of voice changer or something like that. You never know. Obviously, here's a post as well on the Nijisanji, or the Kurosanji subreddit, obviously, with a list of all the people of Nijisanji that have left recently. Obviously, I've covered Ike before and him leaving, and we've got like Selen and some other people as well who obviously moved on. We've also got like, for example, Twisty, and you can see they've already like started drawing a line just right down at the end, which I think is quite funny. And now obviously Aster is gone as well too. So yeah, people saying Danganronpa, but it's Nijisanji member. Said, assuming Raimu is next, who is going after her in the Niji Cube? My money is on Ver. So again, yeah, people are taking bets on that kind of stuff. And obviously they're saying as well, something tells me that Nijisanji's management feels too soft when it comes to terminating Aster, whilst Dokibird and Sayu end up both getting both barrels, which, yeah, is pretty interesting. Obviously, they definitely threw Twisty and Dokibird under the bus and everything like that, and it was pretty you know, terrible. But I think you know, I don't know, the kind of difference between the Nijisanji announcements is very jarring, and it's very weird to see. Obviously they're saying, I just want to say here, say the phrase evolving but backwards, but it gets kind of tiresome for me. Just say devolving instead. They said that's because everyone is evolving, but Gunshots, alright, we get it. It said you thank PewDiePie for that one. Also, softer when that whistleblower received. What is his comedy? Said, I'm almost inclined to believe that they have vibe checks for hiring management similar to how Cover does for the talents. Only replace good vibes with whatever vibes the Niji sisters have. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if that's their target group for hiring. Doki and Sayu definitely got the short end since Niji wasn't humbled yet when they got dragged through the mud. It wasn't surprising they went soft they went soft for Aster since also they were like this with Twisty, and yet they were still treated, it was easier than the victim, one of the victims, mind you, of the case. He said, I think the backlash from Dokibird humbled them, just not in the best way. They basically learned the worst advice from the whole ordeal. I said, yeah, as I said before, Niji learned the wrong lesson from Solen's termination, and Aster being soft terminated with a gentler hand than they dealt to Sayu for talking to other managers, making a D's nuts joke and a R-word joke before stopping. Doki for uploading a video they refused approval at the last minute, trying to leave peacefully after months of bullying, and Delulu officially for the derogatory stuff that she said, but also unofficially for blowing the whistle on them for doing nothing about Aster for years. Shows that that's crystal clear. It said it shows that the girls in Niji have far more rules and harsh punishments than the guys, which yeah, definitely is true. I mean, I didn't really think about that. Yeah, it seems like a lot of the guys in the space definitely have a much more easier time whenever it comes to getting out of Nijisanji and having like an easier kind of transition out. I don't know why that is. Obviously, well, we obviously know why. It's because of, it's Nijisanji, let's be real. So honestly, it feels like they plain don't care anymore. They've gotten a bit of a break with BTB, but Niji EN overall is on its way out. It's been just over 4 years since the branch was established. In that time, they've lost 15 livers, a good chunk of them after fairly short stints. More are barely streaming. If not, they're on hiatus anyways. Their vetting is awful. A majority of the livers make very little money, even before YouTube and Niji take their respective cuts. Merch business on the EN side is doing mediocre numbers from what we know. That's a fuckload of money that they're not making, and given their reputation in the West, it's unlikely that will change in a significant way, which definitely is true. I think it'll be interesting to see how they continue whenever it goes, whenever it comes to kind of making more, I guess managing more VTubers in the EN space. Are they going to continue with that, or do you think that this is going to be like a kind of, I guess, a slow let go of a lot of their EN talent, and then once they're all gone, they'll just focus more on the JP? Because let's be real, like, I think they are mostly hated over in the EN space. I mean, the most issues have been over here. A lot of it has been covered over here. Again, I'm not really very frequent in the Japanese space or anywhere else that they stream either. But again, obviously, I feel like I haven't seen as much coverage of this. Obviously, there is still coverage. There is quite a lot of coverage. But I still think, it's much more pointed out here over in the EN community. So maybe it could just be Nijisanji's move just to like kind of give up on the EN space and just be like, okay, whatever. Maybe have like a small group out there that they can manage a little bit easier. But, they probably won't be working with a big roster like this one here. Which obviously, yeah, is quite a pretty large amount of YouTubers to be managing. Maybe they'll just kind of shorten it into a even shorter group. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And it's just like kind of a waiting game to see what actually happens going forwards with Nijisanji and what happens going forwards with Aster Arcadia as well, with this potential new account. Obviously, I'll keep you guys up to date if there's any kind of videos, posts, or whatever coming out from them, because again, it is going to be very interesting to see how this goes. And I think once we get that vocal debut, it's going to be, yeah, that's probably going to give us the kind of confirmation we need to understand whether it was him or not. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like, and subscribe. Also go to GameSups, use my code Kaza, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, that's all I got, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.